Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-25-95-95-3. If you would like to call us and express how shocked and surprised you are that not a single person, not one person who attended the Second Amendment rally today in Virginia was arrested. Not one. But all of the fear-mongering about there being violence, and these are just white supremacist groups and everything else. And by the way, this was not for lack of trying, right? Obviously, we had the terrorists, one of them from Canada, who was arrested on their way to this thing, trying to start it off. Antifa was trying to infiltrate it to start some violence. They got caught. And I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, you got to be vigilant if you are involved in this Virginia thing, because there will be people who are going to try and bird dog you. They're going to try and infiltrate your ranks, and they're going to try and start violence and make it seem like you are the ones responsible. Friendly reminder as we start the program off this week. Antifa is responsible for more acts of terrorism and more mass shootings than the NRA is. Friendly reminder of that, okay? So you got all of these people out there, huge, massive rally. This thing was as big as advertised, if not larger. And the media did everything they could to lie about it. I mean, everything that they could possibly think of. And so just to give you kind of an idea here, Gabe Gutierrez. Now, Gabe Gutierrez, don't worry if you don't know who he is. Nobody knows who he is. But he's an NBC News correspondent. And he reports for the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, MSNBC, all of that stuff, right? So, Joe, cue my audio. I want to play something for everybody here. All right, I'm just going to play this, and I want you to tell me what you hear them say. All right? All right, cool. What did that sound like to you, Joe?
A lot of people who are prideful of their nationality.
What were they saying?
I heard a lot of America.
The Pledge of Allegiance, wasn't it? Let me back this up here. I want you to listen to this. And justice for all. Okay, so they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So this is a crowd in Richmond saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, Gabe Gutierrez, who is an NBC News correspondent, again, based in New York and reporting for the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, and MSNBC. He tweets out that video, which is 21 seconds long, and he says, chance of we will not comply from gun rights protesters in Richmond. Yeah, this is why nobody likes you, Gabe, and this is why nobody pays attention to what the media says about all of this. Now, I wish that were it, but it's not it, okay? There's plenty of examples of this. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just giving you a taste of what the media did. The Associated Press Western Region today. Gun companies are gathering for their annual trade show this week in Las Vegas, that is SHOT Show, amid slumping sales and escalating tensions over gun control efforts, and they link to their article. Slumping gun sales. So the Associated Press goes out there, they put out an article, post the article on social media about slumping gun sales ahead of the SHOT Show annual convention in Las Vegas, of which I will not be attending this year. And they are straight up lying. Now, do you know how quick it is to find out what gun sales are annually in the United States? It is about 20 seconds. And you can go to the ATF and go to the FBI. They've got all of the data. All you have to do is search for annual gun sales or gun sales by year. And you get the answer. Okay, we're in 2020. The 2019 numbers are available already. All right. So the FBI says that the background checks with the NICS system, and again, this is the best indicator of new firearm purchases that we have. The FBI says that the background checks for 2019 were 3% higher, not than the previous year, the previous record year in 2016. Okay, 2019 is now the highest record for gun sales in American history that we have based on this information in the system, because obviously it doesn't go back, totally. So you've got the Associated Press out there saying that they're slumping gun sales when, in fact, they're the highest they have ever been. They're 3% higher than the previous high. December 2019 was the second highest month on record for gun sales in American history. And the Associated Press is out there lying to everybody about this. Now, not finished yet. Okay? Not finished. So they're going out there. What was it? Oh, yeah. Somebody actually, I got to get on my other Twitter thingy there. One of the people for MSNBC was out there saying that white nationalists were attending the rally. And, of course, were immediately blasted on social media because there were no white nationalists that were there. If they were there, they certainly kept themselves hidden. Nobody had any idea what was going on, where they would be at, or anything else. But at the end of the day, you've got the media consistently lying about this, and they get caught lying about it. Routinely get caught lying about it. Why? Because they want to paint a narrative that they didn't want. They wanted there to be violence there. They wanted there to be an incident so that way they could go, see, look what happened. None of it materialized. Not one. This just came through now because the rally is now over, that not one rally attendee was arrested. So once again, you've got a massive gathering of Second Amendment supporters, and you have no issues of illegality. You've got no issues of violence. You've got no issues of civil disruption beyond what is legally allowed. None of that. People were open carrying outside of the barrier where they recently restricted being able to have a firearm. So they were carrying legally in the state of Virginia in accordance with their laws, okay? And like I said, it's just routinely you run into this where the media will try and paint this false narrative of stuff where they will even lie about what you're... First of all, I'm sure that there were some people who did chant, "We will not comply." Like sheriffs routinely have been doing. We will not comply with illegal and unconstitutional orders to take people's firearms away from them. Yeah, good. Like I said, if you think in the United States of America that you are going to succeed in confiscating people's guns without there being bloodshed, you are sorely mistaken. That is not going to happen here. Like I said, the last country that tried to do it got thrown across an entire ocean. They came back one other time, and they got thrown across the entire ocean again. So this is not something that you can do in the United States of America. By the way, I think one of the most powerful things, and I'm getting a lot of attention on Twitter for this, on my new account, but I think one of the most powerful images from the rally today was pro-Second Amendment people carrying the Hong Kong flag. And if you remember, the protesters in Hong Kong carried our flag, and they sang our anthem, and they asked the United States for help, and we provided them with a lot of public support for doing so. And we did it. We returned the favor. I actually said returning the favor, hashtag Hong Kong, and it's got a lot of retweets and a lot of likes and comments on it, and I appreciate that. But I didn't find the post. Jack is a Prosobiec, I guess, over at the OYN network. He's the one that originally did it. I just retweeted it with a comment, but it's getting a lot of attention, and I appreciate that. That was a powerful image. Because there's a lot of people who are not in favor of firearms, were not Second Amendment supporters, who saw what was happening in Hong Kong. And they said, I get it. In fact, we had a whole conversation about one of those incidents where we actually had somebody who had said, I've never been a Second Amendment supporter, I've never liked guns, but now I understand why the Second Amendment is important, because the people in Hong Kong could really use that right now. But they don't have it. They don't have those rights like we have. They were given those rights by their creator, but they don't have it codified. We do. And that's what these rallies are about. So not one arrest of a rally attendee, not one, in spite of the fear-mongering, in spite of the lying, in spite of everything that has been happening today. Routine lies from the press today. I've captured a couple of them and posted about them and things of that nature, but it really is quite astounding to see these sorts of things happen. Even though we expect them to happen, it's still astounding. I mean, and then of course, you've got the reporters now super sad that people are angry at them for lying. Don't lie. It isn't that difficult. Don't lie. And you don't have to worry about people being upset with you. It's real. Well, I mean, you will, but to a lesser extent. Okay. And at least at that point, you can hold up what you posted and what you said and what you wrote and say, prove me wrong. That's all you have to do. Now, when you post things like that, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of brain dead idiots like Alyssa Milano and things like that out there who are going to repost your stuff. But at the end of the day, you have no credibility whatsoever. None. Especially when you yourself post these rally attendees singing but saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you're lying about what they're saying in that clip. We've got more coming up. We're going to actually hear from some of the non-white rally attendees who are also being attacked today because, God forbid, you should not be a white person to support the Second Amendment in spite of the Second Amendment having large and broad support, especially in the African American and Asian communities in the United States. We'll talk about that coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. The phone lines talking about the Second Amendment rally in Virginia. Janet, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you, Casey. Just wanted to say that my husband and two of his buddies are on their way back, and they talking with my husband today. They had an awesome time. I mean, it was almost very solemn, but also they felt honored to be there. But I don't know all the different kinds of guns, but he rattled off some, and he said people were carrying like there was a 50 cal, and but it was all peaceful, and there was a lot of fear mongering, and we had some discussions about that. But he just felt like it was so important to support the people in Virginia, and also because where we go one, we go all kind of thing, and if it happens there, it can happen in Indiana, it can happen anywhere. So, but they had a great time, and it was very encouraging to know that they were taking video. They're going to post it on Facebook. The streets were very crowded. He said he was guessing thousands. I don't know if you've heard a number of how many people they actually think were there.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the final estimates. There's definitely thousands. Okay, I don't know what the final estimates are if they have a rough estimate yet. But I do know that it's in the thousands. I mean, this is a huge rally. They said it's probably even bigger than what they were expecting. But it's certainly, they've said it's one of the most well-attended of these types of rallies that they've had. So.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And I really hope it gets attention. I was very encouraged to hear what you said about the Hong Kong flag. I had not heard that from my husband Bob, but they're former military, they're oath keepers, and just really felt a passion to be there, and I'm so glad that they went. So.
Yeah, and I mean, on my new Twitter account, my very young new Twitter account, that is by far and away the most popular tweet was posting the Hong Kong flag at the rally.
Awesome.
By far and away.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for giving it time on the air. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Take care. And, look, you have to have these discussions, obviously, about whether or not it's going to be worth the risk of going to something like that. But again, it's important. And there's going to be a time for you to go ahead and take those types of risks. Let's see. Curtis Hawk posted about it. Craig Melvin, who works for MSNBC, claimed that thousands of white nationalists and militia groups were swarming the state capitol in Richmond, which is not true. Of course, all the people who are there, nope, none of this is true. It's an absolute and complete lie. It is what it is. In fact, this is one rally attendee. He happens to be a black man. He's there with some signs and everything. And somebody approached him and just asked, hey, are you a white supremacist? Now, keep in mind, he's a black man. Somebody went ahead and approached him and made that joke and just figured they would talk to him about being at that rally. You can go and cue up my audio for me, Joe. We're going to go ahead and play this for you now.
Are you a white supremacist?
Yeah.
Am I a white? I was told there'd be
This
white
ain't
supremacists.
me. I got dreads.
Oh wow, you really are blackface. Like,
United we stand. My
that's
brother.
right, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
United we stand. But they mad because there wasn't no civil unrest. Now they gonna be mad because there wasn't no fight. Now they gonna be mad because didn't nobody get locked up. They gonna be mad because all the officers is at peace. They gonna be mad because ain't nobody out here fighting. They mad, but guess what? United we stand. That's what this was about.
That's right, brother.
I'm from St. Louis, and I ain't even had to bring no weapon. Don't need no weapon. Don't none of us need no weapon, but we got them.
We got it.
We got them. We got each other back. Why? Because united we stand. That's what it's about.
That's right.
United we stand.
Right, bro. That's right.
White, black, Hispanic, Latino, Mexican, whatever. United we stand. They not.
And he continued, obviously, with that. He's fist bumping people as they're, going with the rally and attending the rally. But then there's another individual. This one got a lot of attention, I should say, and traction earlier from Breitbart when they posted this because they found him Now, this is another black man who happened to attend the rally, and they kind of asked him why he was there, and he went into his spiel and why he was there.
Okay, why am I out here? Basically, I'm out here because I got roped into it by the group of guys you see standing to my right. But the real reason I'm out here is I do not support in any way, shape, or form Governor Northam's and the Democrats' gun control. What I also don't support is the fact that every news piece you've seen on this weekend, they've always brought up the issue of race, as though it's nothing but white rednecks and hillbillies out here who care for the Second Amendment, when actually Black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Americans in general care about the Second Amendment. I work at a gun store part-time, and I can't tell you the number of customers I see of all races, all colors, all creeds, who care about the Second Amendment and who just want to peaceably live their lives, enjoy their rights, and the Second Amendment. So that's why I'm out here. And big media, mainstream media be damned. If you take a good look at me, you can see I'm a black American, and all I'm out here for is to enjoy my Second Amendment rights. That's why I'm here.
Great. And tell us about what do you...
All right, they go into more, but we don't need to play all of that. You get the idea. Now, this is also the Sheriff Richard Vaughn. He's from Grayson County, Virginia, and he was asked, he was at the rally, and he was asked about enforcing these sorts of anti-gun bills in Virginia. And he gave a very straightforward answer as law enforcement, as a sheriff in the state of Virginia.
Or city or commonwealth still be. If the bills go through as proposed, they will not be enforced. They're unconstitutional. We support to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Virginia. That's what we'll do. Outstanding. Yeah.
All right. Made it very clear. You know, the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Virginia make it very clear that you can't have these things. And we've heard politicians say, no, they will enforce it. And if they don't enforce it, we'll call it the National Guard. The National Guard, we've already covered. They, in what I believe was a read between the lines sort of a way, said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that either. They, again, expressed reverence for the First and Second Amendment. And then they went on to say that we haven't been given any kind of orders or anything like that to enforce these types of bills. They haven't even been passed yet. But the way that it was phrased was very political, very diplomatic, but it also, in my belief, my opinion anyway, the way that I read it was reading between the lines, said, yeah, we're not going to do it either. And you're gonna find a lot of politicians think that they have power over the American people, and they do not. When it comes to stuff like this, you're going to find a lot of resistance. So again, glad that the rally went off peacefully. I'm glad that the groups that were trying to infiltrate it and cause problems were caught ahead of time. And I'm glad that the message was received. And I'm glad, frankly, that every single narrative that the media tried to set up over the past couple of weeks fell apart, fell right in their face. So much so that the members of the press today that I've highlighted and more tried to lie about what they saw there and were immediately rebuffed by the vast majority. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.